In the roaring world of speed, pride, and power often outpace even the fastest engines. The story of Ford v Ferrari isn't just about cars. It's about two men defying limits, two companies locked in rivalry, and one race that would define the future of automotive history. The year was 1963. The Ford Motor Company, one of America's biggest car manufacturers, was in trouble. Its cars were reliable, but they weren't exciting. Young people didn't dream of owning a Ford. They wanted something with passion, something like a Ferrari. And that fact deeply bothered Henry Ford II, the grandson of the legendary Henry Ford.
If you can't beat them,
So, Ford came up with a bold idea.
if you can't beat them,
buy
them.
Buy them. Ford sent executives to Italy to negotiate a deal to buy Ferrari, the crown jewel of European racing. Ferrari's cars dominated the world's toughest race, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. It wasn't just a competition, it was a symbol of prestige, engineering brilliance, and speed. Winning Le Mans meant owning the racing world. At first, Enzo Ferrari, the proud founder of the company, seemed interested. But when he discovered that Ford wanted to control his beloved racing team, his pride took over. He called Ford's offer an insult. Then, with a smirk, he looked his American visitors in the eye and said, "Tell your boss he's not Henry Ford. He's Henry Ford II." That insult hit harder than a crash at full speed. Henry Ford II was humiliated and furious. He swore revenge. "If Ferrari won't sell us a car," Ford growled, "then we'll build a car that beats him." And so began one of the greatest rivalries in automotive history. Ford needed a man who understood racing, someone who could challenge Ferrari's dominance. That man was Carroll Shelby, a former race car driver who had once won Le Mans himself, until a heart condition forced him to quit driving. But Shelby wasn't done with racing. He had become a car designer and team owner. Known for his wild ideas and fearless attitude, Ford offered Shelby the impossible job: design a car that could beat Ferrari at Le Mans. Shelby agreed, but he knew it wouldn't be easy. He called in his secret weapon, Ken Miles, a British-born race driver and mechanic. Miles was a genius behind the wheel, brutally honest and often impossible to work with. He didn't care about politics or money, only speed and perfection. Shelby and Miles were a strange duo. One a smooth-talking Texan with big dreams. The other a grumpy perfectionist who could feel the road through his fingertips. But together, they began building the car that could take down Ferrari. The Ford GT40 was born out of sleepless nights, burning engines, and endless arguments. Every test run seemed to end in failure. The car would overheat, break down, or burst into flames. Engineers at Ford's headquarters doubted Shelby's ragtag team. Corporate executives demanded results and clean suits. But Shelby's men wore oil-stained shirts and chased perfection through sweat and stubbornness. Meanwhile, Ken Miles pushed the car and himself to the edge. He could sense every vibration, every imperfection. "It's not about being fast," he said once. "It's about being right." But even as the car improved, politics got in the way. Ford's executives didn't trust Miles. They thought he was too wild, too unpredictable to represent the company at Le Mans. They wanted a safe, smiling driver, not a maverick. Shelby, however, fought for Miles. "If you want to win," he told Ford, "you need him behind the wheel." By 1966, the GT40 was ready, faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything Ford had built before. Shelby and Miles had turned Ford's dream into a roaring machine of pure power. Le Mans was the ultimate test, a 24-hour race through rain, darkness, and exhaustion. Ferrari had ruled it for years with cars that were elegant, light, and precise. Ford's GT40, by contrast, was a brute, a 7.0-liter V8 beast that sounded like thunder on wheels. As the race began, Ferrari and Ford battled wheel to wheel. Miles was relentless, driving through the night with fearless precision. At one point, his car's brake rotors glowed red-hot, nearly melting. But he refused to slow down. When dawn broke over the French countryside, the GT40 was leading. Ferrari's cars began to falter under pressure. One by one, they dropped out. Ken Miles was unstoppable, until Ford's executives interfered again. They wanted a picture-perfect finish, all three Ford cars crossing the line together, symbolizing teamwork and triumph. Shelby argued that Miles deserved the solo win, but Ford ordered otherwise. And so, near the end of the race, Miles slowed down, allowing the other Fords to catch up. The three cars crossed the finish line side by side. A perfect photo, but a cruel twist. Because of a technicality, Miles had started the race further up the track. The victory was awarded to another Ford driver. Ken Miles, the man who had built and driven the car to perfection, was robbed of the win he had earned. Months later, during a test drive of a new GT40 prototype, tragedy struck. Miles was pushing the car past 200 miles when something went wrong. The car flipped and burst into flames, and Miles was killed instantly. The man who had come so close to glory died doing what he loved most, racing. When Carroll Shelby visited the Miles family, he was silent. There were no words for the loss, only the sound of wind over an empty track. In 1966, Ford made history by winning Le Mans, and then again in 1967, 1968, and 1969. They had done the impossible, beaten Ferrari on his home turf. But the victory was bittersweet. Behind every trophy was the memory of Ken Miles, the man who made it possible. Ford v Ferrari isn't just about racing. It's about passion, pride, and the price of greatness. It's about men who risked everything to build something extraordinary. When Carroll Shelby later looked back on that time, he said, "Racing was never about the money or the fame. It was about believing in something.
We did it, buddy.
Driving like hell to prove it." The rivalry between Ford and Ferrari changed the world of motorsport forever.
We did it,
more than that, it reminded everyone that the true race isn't always against others. It's against yourself, your limits and your fears. And in that race, Ken Miles and Carroll Shelby crossed the finish line first. Not in time, but in legacy.